Hi, I'm Linus, and I'm from Sweden. I'm currently 20 years old.
This story about Mera Peak.
So the story began with me arriving to Nepal for the first time, and I met this crazy guy named Uday, and he's all about mountains, you know, he wants to, yeah, he's really excited about that. So then one day he just asked me, oh, let's go for Mera Peak, and I didn't know what this was, so, but then he told me it sounded cool, so yeah, just after some time we did it. We went for it.
I'm just capturing the
Marwood forever.
Passa dig jävligt noga nu, passa dig, fattar du? Fattar du?
Dupla? No, where are you going? GoPro.
Yeah, many people talked about the Lukla flight and that it's quite dangerous and quite scary. But so of course I was a little bit nervous before the flight, but when we started, you know, it was okay. I have done some flights before, so it's not too scary for me actually. And we also a bit lucky that the weather was bad in Lukla, so instead we landed in Paplu. Grabbed some lunch, and then after 1 hour the weather was clear again in Lukla and we could fly without any problem, and it was great. It was great, but of course a little bit bumpy. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's over.
It's not over.
This is great. Yeah, exactly. Much more mellow.
Good morning.
Well, you have to go say good morning, GoPro. How is it?
Hello, good morning, GoPro. I miss you so much whole night.
The first few days of our trek was, of course, in the jungle area, and the weather was not too nice, you know, because of the view. It was a bit cloudy, a bit foggy, but still it was very beautiful in the way of this mysterious thing lying over the trees. So no, it was nice. It was nice, and we got away from the rain. After I think the fifth day, after a heavy rainfall in the evening, the weather was really great, and it all cleared up, and we could see the Mera Peak for the first time, really, and very lucky with it.
Show his face, compliment.
What?
All time compliment. So big mouth.
So big mouth.
Whoa. No me debió amareo.
We arrived in Kari. That's the altitude of 5,000 meters. The view from Kari was so great, so great. And they also have a small bakery. So we took a cup of coffee, took a chocolate muffin, just relaxed, enjoyed the view. So that's just a great experience. And the day after we took one rest day, one day off, and also for acclimatization to get used to the high altitude. And so in that day we relaxed, but also we tried out our gear and got that, and did some training with the harness, with the crampons, just to learn how to use with the rope. So after I think 2 or 3 hours from Kari, we arrived at the Mera base camp at an altitude of 5,300. And shortly after the base camp, it was the crampon point, the place where we had to put on our harness, use our harness and our crampons, because now it started to get quite steep and also very icy and snowy. So yeah, we started walking, and it was really amazing how first the weather was all clear, and then just after a few minutes, a big cloud comes in and we couldn't see nothing but a few meters in front of us. So that's when we knew we were really up on the mountains, and yeah, it was tough.
Right. Where he go? Yeah, pee. Come here. ठीक छ नि ठीक छ नि अब feeling sir sir good yeah. Oh, you जानु नि सबै हैन यो सबै जानु नि कुरो नि oh away cloud go away, we need to view here. So people coming from other sides, huh? Coming from other sides. Oh, la. Base camp यहाँबाट उन्दो है यताबाट तल. We're coming from Kongmala. Oh no, that's Borunche base camp.
Who is coming?
Chamlang base camp. There's a mountain. People do expedition there.
Borunche expedition. Yeah, we get caught by slugs here already, yeah?
Yeah, man. Huh? Yeah, it looks like very close, but oh my god! Woo!
So we arrived to the hike camp after a few hours of tough walking, and but for the altitude, I think we all felt pretty good. I felt pretty good. No headache whatsoever. The only thing is when you start, as soon as you start walking, you feel directly your breath is quite heavy, and it's, muscles need more oxygen in the legs, and so you have to walk slow and just relax when you're in that high altitude. It was very nice arriving to the hike camp and seeing all these tents on the cliff, on the mountain, just behind a rock, so a little bit protection from wind. And you see these clouds just lying over the mountaintops around. And, very cool, very cool. Very cozy to sleep in those tents also.
It took time. We didn't take Galaxy.
Oh, it's all spring coming. Oh.
Yes. Our shoes. But can you keep it close?
Got the shoes. No, just cheap.
What we didn't do is we have to put our crampons there. Okay. Yes, very good idea. To put on yourself.
And very cozy to sleep in those tents also. Cuddle up in your sleeping bag and get a few more hours before waking up 1 a.m. to start pushing for the summit. You walk at that high altitude and at this long distance of steep ground. It was really tough. It was really tough, and every step you took was quite heavy. Your breath was getting high, and also in the beginning of the night it was very dark. 3 hours, we started to see the sunrise behind us over the Himalaya. It was one of the best views ever, and continued pushing, and but of course we met. After 5.5 hours, we reached the summit, finally.
दही फुकाउ जान्छ यसलाई फुकाउ जान्छ यसलाई सेफ्टी यता छैन रहेछ छैन दाइ हजुर
The feeling of arriving to the summit was spectacular. It was something I've never done before, and the view was something I never could imagine. Yeah, it was a bit emotional also, you know, you've been doing this, pushing for this many days, and finally we made it. And walking down from the summit was of course a lot more easier. Now it was not so quite as heavy walking, but still you feel the altitude and everything. But now you could enjoy the view even more while you're walking down and you have everything in front of you. Of course, on the way up and now also on the way down, it was like there is like holes in the glacier, cracks, where we just hold straight down. Of course, walking over that was a bit, it was something new, but no, it went all well. And we had some lunch in high camp before heading down all the way to Kari, to then finally have some rest after long day of walking up and down. After arriving in Lukla, we could feel the relief in some way to finally made it back in one piece, and also about the success of actually doing it. It was a great feeling. Still, it's a bit, you know, sad to leave the mountains and everything we've been through and done together, but not everything can last forever, you know. Every good time. And also, we got the time to have a dinner and thank our guide Sonam and our two porters for helping and being kind, so kind, and on this amazing journey, and just spend the last time together before going back to Kathmandu and back to the reality.